What is your level of consciousness? What if every emotion places us at a different level of consciousness? This idea comes from psychiatrist and spiritual author Dr. David R. Hawkins, who created the Map of Consciousness, a spiritual scale from 1 to 1,000. It is not a scientifically measured frequency in hertz, but a spiritual framework for understanding emotions, ego, and awakening. Between levels 1 and 200 are shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, and pride. These lower levels are often driven by insecurity, attachment, blame, and the need to protect the ego. Life becomes centered on the self. I am going on this holiday. I just bought an expensive watch. I need luxury items so people can see my success. He treated me badly. Everyone is against me. Everyone is wrong except me. Conversations revolve around personal status, possessions, pain, and comparison. There may be little forgiveness, little consideration for others, and a constant need to defend, impress, or blame. The world is experienced mainly through one question: what does this mean for me? Between levels 200 and 400 is the transitional zone, beginning with courage and moving through neutrality, willingness, acceptance, and reason. At these levels, a person begins taking responsibility instead of blaming everyone else. The conversation may sound like, I made a mistake, but I can learn from it. I need to improve my health. I want to build a better career. I am working on healing myself. I may disagree with you, but I can still listen. There is more self-discipline, logic, acceptance, and personal growth. The ego becomes healthier and more balanced. But the journey is still largely about my goals, my healing, my knowledge, my success. Then comes love at 500. This is not simply romance. It represents the beginning of selflessness. There is less gossip, blame, and comparison. Conversations are no longer always about myself, yourself, or what somebody else did wrong. Instead, people begin asking, what can we do together? Who needs support? How can we bring hope to others? They may forgive more easily, visit orphanages or nursing homes, spend time with children and older people, protect animals, care for nature, and serve their communities without expecting recognition. This connects with the Buddha's teaching of selflessness and non-attachment. All appearances are ultimately illusory. It reminds us not to become too attached to wealth, status, relationships, or identity, because everything changes. At joy, around 5 and 40, gratitude and inner fulfillment become more natural. A person may pause before eating to give thanks for the meal, the people who prepared it, and the chance to be nourished. Before sleeping, they may reflect on the day with gratitude, for being safe, for moments of happiness, and even for the lessons hidden inside difficult experiences. They may quietly thank the universe for the opportunity to be alive, to experience love, connection, beauty, and growth. At this level, gratitude is no longer reserved for special moments. It becomes a daily way of seeing life. At peace around 600, the need to control life begins to fade. A person may remain calm during criticism, conflict, or loss. They may comfort someone who is grieving, help resolve conflict without taking sides, or make others feel safe simply through their presence. Between 700 and 1,000 is enlightenment, associated in this model with spiritual teachers such as Buddha and Jesus. At these levels, the individual ego becomes far less dominant. A person no longer asks only, "What do I want?" They begin asking, "What does the greater whole need?" This is the idea of sacrificing the smaller self for the greater self, giving up personal comfort, wealth, recognition, or advantage so that others may benefit. Jesus is remembered for sacrificing himself for the salvation of humanity. The Buddha gave up royal comfort and devoted his life to teaching a path out of suffering and helping others awaken. In modern life, Japanese entrepreneur Kazuo Inamori founded Kyokera and KDDI, then used substantial personal wealth to support research, education, and the Kyoto Prize, recognizing people whose work benefits humanity. The sacrifice is not made for praise. It is not about appearing heroic. It comes from seeing that another person's suffering is not separate from our own. At these levels, people may teach without seeking fame, forgive without receiving an apology, and serve without expecting anything in return. They begin to recognize that nothing truly belongs to us, not our possessions, status, body, or identity. Everything comes from nature and the universe, and eventually returns to it. We are temporary experiencers, small particles of the universe learning through human life and returning those experiences to the greater whole. Humanity, animals, nature, and the universe are no longer seen as separate. They are all expressions of the same source. Below 500, the journey is mainly about understanding, healing, and accepting the self. Above 500, the journey becomes selflessness, compassion, sacrifice, and service. At the highest levels, love is no longer something a person occasionally gives. It becomes the way they live. The next time you argue, ask yourself, is it wisdom speaking or the ego trying to prove it is right? And if no one needed to win, would the conflict still exist, or would life simply move on?